ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थे सुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया मनश्च भद्रं भजता दधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। आप सभी का स्वागत है आज के इस
We welcome all of you to today's class on Śrīmad-Bhāgavad Gita. We are studying third chapter, verse 23 onwards. Here Bhagavan is answering Arjuna's question regarding what is best for him, whether Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga, because after hearing Bhagavan's lecture, Arjun got doubt what is best for him, and he thought that Jnana Yoga is superior to Karma Yoga. So regarding that, Bhagavan is speaking, he is explaining Karma Yoga, and he has instructed Arjun to follow Karma Yoga. He told very clearly that with a detached feeling you should perform karma. That is best for you.
क्या चीज है एक जिसका करने से मेरे को श्रेय की प्राप्ति होगी।
He had asked, what is that one thing which if I follow will give best result to me. And then Bhagavan gave his own example.
त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन, कि मेरे पास कुछ भी प्राप्त करने के लिए नहीं है,
Bhagavan said that there is nothing for me to obtain.
फिर भी मैं
I have no desire,
कार्य में संलग्न रहता
but still I am always engaged in action.
हूं। तो उसी कड़ी में यहाँ पर ये बोल रहे हैं, यदि ही हम न वर्तयम जातु कर्मण्यतन्द्रितः मम वर्तमानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वशः। हे अर्जुन,
Translation:
यदि मैं कभी
If I ever ceased to be vigilantly engaged in action, O Arjuna, then certainly
सभी मनुष्य
people in general would follow my footsteps in all respects.
तो भगवान कहते हैं कि अगर वो कार्य नहीं करते हैं तो दूसरे लोग भी उनका आचरण
So Bhagavan is telling that if he stops
कर्तव्य कर
performing action, then being influenced by this behavior, the ordinary people, they will also stop performing action, and that will be a great, it will cause a great damage to society, because he had told earlier that whatever superior people do, it influences the ordinary public.
अपना कर्म त्याग कर
And if the Shrestha people, if they give up their karma, then other people will also be influenced and inclined to give up their karma, and that will lead to very chaotic situation in the society. That's
जाने का
why
मतलब
Bhagavan is
सदैव
telling
ऐसा नहीं कि 5 दिन किया फिर 2 दिन वीकेंड पे छुट्टी कर लिया,
that always we have to be engaged, not that we take off on weekends.
छुट्टी होती रहती है स्कूल की, कॉलेज की, काम पे लोग इधर उधर जाते हैं, कहते हैं मैं ऐसा नहीं करता।
So Bhagavan says that I do not take any holiday. I am always engaged in action.
सर्व प्रकार से
In all ways,
ऐसी स्थिति होती है,
whatever be the situation, according to the situation, I keep performing action. You can see now I am driving your chariot also.
प्रिय है,
So Bhagavan is a Kshatriya,
हाँकना तो सूत का कार्य होता है,
and but driving chariot is the role of to be performed by a Suta. But Arjun had requested him that you become my chariot driver.
और
That's why Bhagavan is telling Sarvasha.
तो कहते हैं अतंद्रिता। ऐसा है कि किसी को कुछ काम करने के लिए दे दिया जाए तो अपने मन से नहीं करता है,
If somebody is told to do something, then he generally doesn't desire to do it internally. He just wants to finish it off as quickly as possible and run away.
या स्कूल
When it is
स्कूल का समय समाप्त होता है तो
when the school hours are over or office hours are over, you see the children,
उसमें उनको
they feel so happy, and they or the employees, they feel so happy when office hours are over. That means they are internally not inclined to do that action. They do not have the enthusiasm
कहते हैं कि
to work. But here Bhagavan is telling
जातु कर्मणि अतंद्रिता, बिना किसी तंद्रा के, बिना किसी निद्रा के। लोग क्लास में आते हैं तो झूमने लगते हैं,
when people come to class,
झटका आ जाता है नींद का, क्या ये तो
they
सही
start feeling sleepy.
तो
Many
कहते हैं
students actually fall asleep also.
मैंने
But Bhagavan is saying,
सावधानी से कार्य करता
I work very carefully,
और ऐसा करने से इसका असर दूसरों पर पड़ता है।
and by working like this, it creates an impact on others also.
मेरे विचार से 3 मुख्य बिंदु भगवान ने कहे हैं।
So according to me, there are 3 most important points regarding Karma Yoga that Bhagavan is telling. First is Atandrita, do it very carefully.
एक आसक्ति छोड़कर,
Secondly, perform Karma Yoga without attachment,
आसक्ति और कर्म
without attachment to karma, the result, and the doership.
को छोड़कर
By giving up attachment to all the 3, perform karma
सावधान पूर्वक
and doing it very carefully. And the third is Samachara,
समाचार का मतलब बढ़िया से ठीक से करना।
do it
आप सावधानी
properly, nicely.
कार्य मतलब आप सावधानी का मतलब होता है कि आप जागरूक हैं,
Doing carefully means you are aware,
करना जो विधि है
you are awake,
विधि से नहीं कर रहे हैं,
but then you may not do it according to the prescribed process, because any action can be done in the right way or in the wrong way.
का मतलब होता है
So samachara means to perform the action according to the prescription, according to how it should be done.
कर्मयोग के सिद्धांत भगवान ने दिए यहाँ पर।
So Bhagavan has explained these three important points about karma yoga here. First, act without attachment.
इसको ठीक ठीक
Second, do it properly.
तीसरा
And third,
के साथ
do it carefully
आने का मतलब जागरूकता से,
with
कि
awareness.
आप कोई काम जिस करते हैं उसकी आदत पड़ जाती है आपको, तो
When
आदत
you
पड़ गई,
regularly do some action, you become used to it.
जागरूकता नहीं है।
But when you become used to it, you do it properly, but then you are not aware about
गाड़ी चलाना
that action. Say you drive and you know how to drive properly, but then you do not have to remain much aware about it because you have so much, you are so much used to driving.
तो भगवान यहाँ कहते हैं कि जागरूक होकर कार्य कीजिए, क्योंकि
So here
ऐसा
Bhagavan is telling,
ऐसा करने से
act with
आप कर्म
awareness.
से छूट जाएंगे।
Because if you do like work like this, then you will be liberated from the bondage of karma. Otherwise, when you perform karma, it creates a samskara and then it makes attachment.
छूटने का तरीका यहाँ
Then how will you become free of the attachment? So here he is giving the process how to be free from that attachment. Like somebody is, let's say somebody is smoking
आनंद आता है,
and he derives pleasure in smoking.
ना अच्छी उसको, उसका तनाव कम होता है जो भी है, लेकिन वो अगर पीता है तो वो जागरूकता से नहीं पीता है। अगर वो
But say that person is not smoking with awareness. If he smokes with awareness, then it will be possible for him to give up the habit of smoking.
भगवान ने कहा ना कर्मणि अतंद्रिता, तो जिसको जो कार्य छोड़ना है
So
उसको अगर अतंद्रिता करेंगे आप, तो उसमें धीरे धीरे आपकी आसक्ति खत्म हो जाएगी, फिर आप कर
so
सकते
if
हैं
you
उसको,
are, if you want to give up any bad habit, so if you do it carefully, then you will be able to give it up with awareness. If you are doing it, then you can give it up.
जो कि बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है इसको समझना।
So this is the Siddhanta of Karma Yoga, which is very important to understand.
बिना किसी तंद्रा के, अवेयरनेस के साथ, जिसको बोलते हैं ना जागरूकता,
To act with awareness
और ठीक से करना,
and do it properly.
फिर उस कर्म में बंधन नहीं होता। तो इसलिए भगवान कहते हैं,
So if you act like this, then you will not be bound to the karma.
मैं इसी प्रकार कार्य
That's why Bhagavan is saying that
उदाहरण वो देते हैं।
I act with awareness.
तो रथ चलाने का जो उदाहरण है,
So this example of driving chariot,
रथ चलाते समय उनको नींद का झटका आ जाए,
that is the example of working with awareness. So if he starts falling asleep while driving the chariot, then people will die.
तो खुद भी मरेगा और जो उसके यात्री बैठे हैं वो भी मरेंगे।
The passenger sitting on the chariot will also die.
तो जीवन ऐसे ही जीना,
So this is how one should live
तंद्रा के,
without
जो भी करो आप,
falling asleep while working,
उसमें
means
ऐसा नहीं होता है कि
to work with awareness.
बड़ा है, क्योंकि
Then
वास्तव में
there is no work which is inferior or superior.
कर रहे हैं,
Because actually whatever work you are doing, the goal is to rise above that, means to get liberated from the bondage.
सन्यासी का ही मोक्ष होगा,
It is not that only sannyasi will get liberation and one who is doing business or agriculture will not get liberated. Bhagavan has told very clearly here.
जनक तो सन्यासी नहीं था, राजा
King Janak was not a sannyasi, he was a king. King has so many responsibilities. It's a very stressful job.
लेकिन उसको भी सिद्धि प्राप्त हुई, क्योंकि
But still he achieved perfection because he knew the principle of Karma Yoga, the Siddhanta of Karma Yoga.
नहीं है
So this is not easy to understand
कैसे कार्य कर सकते
that
हैं,
how to work without attachment.
क्योंकि हम जब भी कार्य करते हैं तो
Because whenever we work with attachment.
तो इसको समझना है,
So this is what we have to understand.
इस बात को,
Because in the upcoming verses, Bhagavan will speak repeatedly to work without attachment.
अनुभव है कार्य करने का,
Because whatever experience we have
करना
of working till now, that is of working with attachment.
कुछ ना कुछ प्राप्त करना है उसमें
We have
उसके कारण वही हमको
we are attached to get some fruit or the other from the work, and that attachment is what drives us to work,
इसमें
what inspires us to work.
तो हम करते
It is the result of that work that inspires us.
हैं यहाँ भगवान उसका उल्टा बोल रहे हैं
But here Bhagavan is speaking exactly the opposite.
कर्म और कर्म योग में यही अंतर है
So this is the difference between karma and karma yoga.
क्रिया मात्र करना तो वो तो फल के कारण करते हैं
Just doing karma,
कर्म योग जो बता रहे हैं
that leads to bondage. But here Bhagavan is speaking of karma yoga,
कार्य कीजिए
that is to work with awareness.
इसको अगर नहीं करेंगे
If you do not work with awareness, if you do not work the way Bhagavan has explained, then
मतलब हो जाएगा
there will be
बहुत अव्यवस्था हो जाएगी
lot of disturbance and chaos in life.
के साथ तो ऐसा कभी संभव नहीं है कि वो कार्य
So
ना करें
in case of Bhagavan, it is not possible
उन्हें कुछ
that
करना नहीं है और उनके अंदर शक्ति है कार्य करने की
he will not act, because he has the energy to act and he doesn't have to obtain anything. And
तमस रजस इनका कोई प्रभाव पड़ता नहीं
there
है
is no influence of rajas and tamas on Bhagavan,
तामसिक वृत्ति बढ़
because
जाती है
when the
उससे फिर
vritti of tamas increases in a person, then
प्रकार के
sleep, illusion,
अवगुण शरीर में आते हैं मन में आते हैं उनको प्रभावित करते हैं
all these bad qualities, they arise and they influence the person, and the person is not able to work properly, or maybe he doesn't even like to work.
प्रभाव पड़ता नहीं है
But Bhagavan is not influenced by all this,
काम करते हैं
so he works properly.
दिया है अर्जुन को वो वैसा स्वयं भी करते हैं
The way he has instructed Arjun, he himself also follows that.
फिर उसके बाद
Bhagavan is not somebody who just gives lecture and then goes and sits like a lazy person.
सप्तम कार्यम कर्म समाचर इसको बताते हैं कि मैं भी ऐसे ही करता हूँ
What Bhagavan told Arjun, he himself also always follows.
भाव है
That is why his statements have such a deep impact. One who himself
और वो
follows
उपदेश
the
तो उसका
injunctions of Shastra and acts and instructs accordingly, then his instruction create a deep impact.
समझा रहे हैं
So Bhagavan himself is
मैं भी
explaining this, that see,
कार्य में
I am also busy in action.
और यदि ही हम न वर्ते यदि माने ऐसा तो हो ही
So,
नहीं सकता इसलिए यदि यहाँ संभावना
the word yadi which is used in this verse is in the sense of possibility,
तो एक संभावना होती है
like in api chet duruchara. So api is just a possibility,
संभावना
which it means that it is actually not possible, but theoretically suppose if it happens.
ऐसा कभी हो
So here Bhagavan is telling yadi means assume theoretically if it happens, which means actually it will not happen.
कि न वर्तेयम अगर मैं ना करूं तो वास्तव में तो भगवान सत्य संकल्प हैं
So assume theoretically if Bhagavan stops acting.
मात्र से ही
So actually Bhagavan is Satya Sankalpa, meaning just by his Sankalpa he can obtain everything, but still he works.
पहले कहा था लोक संग्रह अपि संपन्स्यन तो लोक संग्रह को देखते हुए भी वो उसको
So as it was said earlier, considering Loka Sangraha also Bhagavan works.
फिर उसके बाद में वो कहते हैं कि मम वर्तमान
And then he says
मनुष्य पार्थ सर्वशः कि अगर मैं नहीं करूंगा तो लोग मेरा
that if I stop working, then people will start following my example.
आश्चर्यजनक या
So
रोचक
this
बात
is a great wonder
कोई व्यक्ति
that
सही काम
if a person is doing something right,
तो हमारी उतनी इच्छा नहीं होती है
then
कि उसकी तरफ
we do not feel much inclined to follow that person. But if somebody does something wrong, then immediately we hold on to that example. That's why Bhagavan is telling here, if I do not
लोग मेरा
work, then people will start following him.
तो तब कुछ लोग करें कुछ ना करें
If I work, then maybe some people will follow me, some do not follow. But if I start doing the wrong thing, then everyone will start following my example. It means that it is human beings' nature to hold on to the wrong example very quickly. Because to rise up, you have to work hard. But to fall down, you don't have to do anything. Gravitational force is enough to make us fall down. That's why Bhagavan is telling here
कि मनुष्य जो है वो सर्वशः सब
that
प्रकार से
human being,
मेरा अनुसरण करने लगेंगे
he
मैं गलत करूं
human beings will follow me in every way if I start if I stop working. Now also people say that Bhagavan did this, Bhagavan did that, then why can I not do it? So Bhagavan understands this. So what does this prove? It proves that the Shrestha people, those who have superior positions in society, who have respectable positions in society, who are leaders,
उनके ऊपर बहुत ज्यादा उत्तर
they have tremendous responsibility
कि वो कोई
that they should not act
क्योंकि अगर
in any wrong way,
लगेंगे
because if they start behaving improperly, then it will have
और बहुत
a
जल्दी प्रभाव समाज के ऊपर पड़ेगा
very negative impact
करते हैं
among the public.
तो करना चाहिए तो
If they behave properly,
जल्दी से
then people will not
उनकी जो कुछ
follow them easily,
नहीं चाहते हैं
because people have bad habits which they do not want to give up easily, but they have the tendency of holding on to the wrong example, catching the wrong example very easily. So that is why it is a great responsibility on the part of the leaders that they behave properly. In their behavior, there should be no corruption,
तो ये आज
no hypocrisy.
बहुत बड़ी समस्या है
So in today's society, this is a
कि
major problem that our
अग्रणी चाहे वो साधु समाज में हो
that people that those who are leaders in the spiritual field or in the political field or any other field in the social life, whoever is occupying the top positions in that field,
आचरण
who are occupying respectable positions in today's situation, mostly their behavior is not according to Shastra. We do not see like that.
प्रकार का मिथ्याचार देखने में आता है
What we see mostly is mithyachar, lot of show off.
देखोगे
But if you analyze them, if you check them internally, then they are not like what they show off externally.
आज के समाज
So this is a major problem in today's society.
समाचारों में कि उसने ऐसा कर दिया उसने ये ऐसा कर दिया
That's why we keep hearing in news that he did this, somebody leader, he did that. And the news media, they also immediately catch the wrong news. If somebody is doing something right, it will not be highlighted in media. But if somebody leader is doing something wrong, that news immediately becomes viral. So why does it become viral? Because people are inclined
कि एक जो मनोवैज्ञानिक है
to follow this
द्वेष भाव
wrong example.
का मूल स्थायी भाव है
So today the main sthai bhav in human beings is envy,
लेकिन स्थायी भाव
not preeti. They want preeti, but they do not have that as the sthai bhav. The sthai bhav, the permanent mood today is envy.
इसमें रस
That's why they derive a lot of pleasure in criticizing others.
उस बात में आता है जो हमारे भाव से अनुरूप हो
We derive rasa
वैसे दूसरा
according to in doing that which is according to our bhava.
उससे बात
One who matches with that, our bhava, we make friends with that person. If you are talking something with some person and uh, he is saying something against what you are speaking, then you do not feel like speaking to him.
वो द्वेष से पूर्ण ज्यादा रहता है
So human beings' nature is full of envy.
उसमें द्वेष होता है
Even if two people have a loving relation, then there is jealousy between both of them.
तो ये तामसिक वृत्ति है
So this is tamas.
वृत्ति उसके कारण ही ऐसी भावना आती है
This feeling arises due to the influence of tamogun.
जो कोई साधु है या नेता है
So if somebody
समाज का अग्रणी
is a sadhu, leader, then he should be very careful that even if he does a small mistake, people will immediately catch that, and Bhagavan is the supreme
कितनी
among
सावधानी से काम
everyone,
करते हैं, तो इसलिए
then
बोल रहे हैं
how carefully he works,
कि मैं बहुत सावधानी से सतर्क होकर कार्य करता हूँ, क्योंकि अगर
that I
असमर्थ
work very carefully with full awareness. Because if I do not work, then people will
समाज में
follow
विकृति आ
the
जाएगी।
wrong example,
तो इसलिए
and there will be lot
के
of
बारे में सुखदेव जी
chaos in
कहते हैं,
society.
अनुग्रहाय
So
भगवान
Shukdev ji says,
मानुषम देहम आश्रित भजते तादृशी क्रीड़ा यत्सुत्वा तत्परो भवेत, कि भगवान जो समाज में आते हैं,
he
जो कहते
says
हैं ना
that when Bhagavan appears in the society, in the human society, as we hear, he appears for establishing dharma. So he does this in two ways. One is by lecturing, like he is giving lecture in Bhagavad Gita.
मूल रूप से
His
अगर
lectures are very few. Primarily, Bhagavan teaches the human society. He establishes dharma by his own example. He gave this lecture of Bhagavad Gita because Arjun asked for that.
लेकिन अपने
Bhagavan
आचरण
Ramchandra, in fact, did not give any lecture, but
तो इसलिए
he
आचरण
established dharma.
वो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है,
So
और
behavior,
उस आचरण
personal
का हमें
behavior is extremely important.
साधु
Character is
समाज
very
में
important.
व्यक्ति किसी भी आध्यात्मिक संस्था
In
में
the
आता
Sadhu
है तो
Samaj, if any person is a
तो उसको
member
भी ध्यान
of
रखना
a
चाहिए कि
spiritual
उनके जो आध्यात्मिक संस्था
institution,
के मुखिया हैं,
not
व्यक्ति
that
को इस बात
those
का
who
विशेष
are
ध्यान रखना नहीं कि
heads of
आध्यात्मिक
those who are
संस्था
leading
के
the spiritual
सदस्य
institutions only they need to be aware of
जो
this,
उसमें
but actually every member in the
आध्यात्मिक
institution has to be
आदर्श
aware of this, because
तो आज्ञा
the
देते हैं ना कि
public
मैं
considers every member of the
पूरा
spiritual
देश घूम
institution
लिया है,
as
सारे
an
देश देखते
ideal
हैं कि तिलक
example.
लगाते हैं और
So if you dress as a sadhu, if you put on the tilak,
पोशाक होती है उसको पहनते हैं साधु की, तो लोग उसी को प्रणाम करते हैं नहीं समाज
if
में।
you dress like a sadhu, then
तो
people
इसलिए
pay
उनका
obeisances
ये
to you,
कर्तव्य
they
बनता
respect
है कि
you.
अपने आचरण को ठीक रखें और
So
अपने
then it is your
जो
duty to
देश
act
है, जो
properly.
एक स्थिति है साधु समाज में, उसके अनुरूप आप आचरण करें।
So you
तो बहुत
should,
बड़ा
if
उत्तरदायित्व
you are
है
dressing like a sadhu, you should also act
लोगों के ऊपर।
according to a sadhu. You should
तो
behave
इसलिए भगवान
properly.
कहते हैं मम
It's a
वर्तमान
great
तो
responsibility
लोग आपका आचरण
on
देखते हैं तो
every
ऐसा हो जाता
member of the spiritual
है कि भगवान
institution
का
or
ये अनुसरण
society. But if you act improperly,
एक
then people will
मनुष्य है जो
follow
मेरा
you.
अनुसरण करता है,
So Bhagavan is telling
मेरा
here
अनुसरण जो
that
करता है वो मुझसे
only
कहना
that
लगेगा
person is fit to be called a human being
पार्थ
who follows
सर्वशः
my example.
वर्तन्ते
One
मनुष्य
who does not follow my example is not fit to be called a human being.
जो आलसी है,
One who
प्रमादी है,
is lazy,
कामचोर है,
who escapes
अपना
from
कर्तव्य नहीं
working,
करता है,
who escapes
तो
from
वो
doing his duty,
मनुष्य कहलाने के लायक नहीं
he
है।
is not fit to be called a human being.
मनुष्य में भगवान ने क्रिया शक्ति दी है, बुद्धि दी है, तो उसको अपने कर्तव्य का
Bhagavan
पालन
has given buddhi to human beings. He has given the kriya shakti to human beings. So human beings should use that
तो उसका
with intelligence.
हमको भी अनुसरण करना चाहिए।
They should follow the example of
और
Bhagavan.
अगर ऐसा नहीं करते हैं
And
तो
if
क्या होगा?
people do not follow the example of Bhagavan, then what will
परिणाम
happen?
होता है।
So Bhagavan speaks in next verse.
ईप्सिदेयुरिमे लोका न कुर्याम कर्म चेदहम संकरस्य च कर्ता स्यामुपहन्यामिमाः प्रजाः। यदि मैं कर्म ना करूं
Translation: if I
तो
did
ये
not
लोग
perform action,
नष्ट हो जाएंगे
all these worlds
और मैं
would come to
समाज के
ruin,
लोगों और उनके कर्तव्य
and
को
I
नष्ट
would
कर दूंगा।
become the cause of the disruption of the
इस
social
प्रकार
classes and their
मैं सबके लिए
duties.
उत्तरदायी
In this
होता
way,
हूँ।
I would be
तो
responsible
यहाँ
for
पे
the
जो
destruction of
शब्द
these
प्रयोग किया
people.
उन्होंने न कुर्याम कर्म चेत हम, चेत का मतलब ऐसा अगर हो, सा मतलब होगा नहीं,
So
लेकिन
he's
अगर
telling
ऐसा
if
होगा
it happens, means it will actually not
तो क्या
happen,
होगा उसके
but
बारे में
if it happens, then he's explaining what will be the result.
जितने भी लोग हैं, लोग का मतलब
So
समाज, लोग का
all the
मतलब
lok here, lok means
सृष्टि,
society,
ऊपर नीचे होते
creation,
हैं,
the upper,
क्योंकि
the
वो
lower planetary
सूरज,
systems,
दैवी,
because
असुर इत्यादि
there
जो
are
ग्रह
also
सृष्टि
different
में रहते
living
हैं,
beings, the Devi, the Asuri living
उनका
beings, they are residing.
आचरण देखते हैं।
So they also
वो अपना
observe
कर्तव्य कर्म नहीं
what
करेगा
Bhagavan
तो
is
सूरज
doing.
अपना कर्तव्य कर्म नहीं
So
करेगा,
if
चंद्रमा
Indra
अपना
stops performing his duty, if Vayu, Varun, if they stop performing their duties, then the entire world will be destroyed.
अग्निकांड चल रहा है
Now you can just see the fire tragedy going on in California. So many thousands of homes got destroyed. So the Agni Devata, if he becomes upset, then you'll have so much tragedy. All the technology also could not save. So if Prakriti shows its fury, then what can human being do?
भूकंप आ जाए, सुनामी
If
आ
there
जाए,
is an earthquake or a tsunami or excessive rainfall, sometimes it happens. There is excessive rainfall, there is flooding everywhere.
तो इसलिए कहते हैं कि
So here it is said
नष्ट हो जाए.
that the whole world will get destroyed.
अगर केवल समाज की दृष्टि से देखा जाए तो
If
समाज
you
जो
just
है
see from the
हो जाएगा.
point of society, it will become Sankara. So what does Sankara mean? Just like karma and dharma are synonymous,
यानी कि अपने
if a person does not perform karma, which means that he does not follow his dharma, then what will happen?
तो है नहीं कि वो कुछ भी नहीं
It
करेंगे.
is not that people will
धर्म नहीं
not do anything. If you are not doing dharma, then you will do adharma.
तो करेगा ही.
You will do something.
भगवान ने पहले भी कहा
Bhagavan told earlier also
जातु तिष्ठति
that
कर्मकृत कि बगैर कुछ
without doing anything, nobody can
तो अगर आप
live for a moment also. So when you are not
जिससे
performing
हो आप
your duty,
ऐसा कर्म नहीं करेंगे तो
which leads to upliftment of society, of yourself, then you are doing something that will lead to your fall down, to the society's fall down.
आप दूसरे का कर्म करने लगे और वो किसी और का करने लगे. तो पहली बात तो है कि
So then society will become Sankara. You are doing somebody else's duty, others are doing your duty. Bhagavan told earlier also that
ऐसे नहीं करेंगे तो अव्यवस्था
don't do something which is not according to your swabhava.
ये आज की स्थिति है.
Otherwise, there will be disruption in the society. So this is one problem today. People do not function according to their swabhava.
ये है जो आपके स्वभाव से प्राप्त है. स्वभाव
Karyam karma means what you should do, which you have obtained according to your swabhava. So you do not do that, and you do something that is contrary to your swabhava, then it will lead to psychological problems.
अगर आपका मन उद्वेलित है तो दूसरों को भी
Your mind will be disturbed, and when you will be disturbed, then you will end up disturbing others also. This is the problem in today's society. People think, what is the use of studying Bhagavad Gita? Will Bhagavad Gita be able to feed me and my family? But they do not know that at Bhagavad Gita goes at such deep, subtle level, and it can organize our life. It can restore order in our life, in society. We want that there should be order and peace in the society. That's why government frames so many laws. But still, despite all this law and order, so many crimes keep happening. So why does this happen? That is because if human being's mind is disturbed, no matter how many laws you frame, human being will break those laws.
अपना जो गलत काम है वो तो कर ही देगा ना. लेकिन अगर मन हमारा शांत है,
But if the mind is peaceful, then we will not act in the wrong way. And that is what Gita is teaching.
तो बोलते हैं कि मैं
So Bhagavan is saying that I will become the cause of the disruption of the social classes and their duties, responsible for destruction of people. So from this we understand that if Bhagavan is speaking like this about himself, then what to speak of those who are the representatives of Bhagavan, the Acharya, Guru, as Bhagavan says in Bhagavatam, that understand Acharya to be me. So Acharya also has similar responsibility like Bhagavan. If Acharya acts improperly, then it will lead to destruction of the other people. So if somebody is occupying the position of guru or acharya, then he also has to understand that he has a tremendous responsibility on himself. Not that you just always get your puja conducted and do whatever you like. So Bhagavan is telling that if I work improperly, if I do not perform my duty, the whole world will be destroyed. That is why there is a great responsibility on everyone. And he had told earlier also that you should not be attached to not working.
माते संगोस्तु अकर्मणि माँ कर्म फल हेतुर्भुर माते संगो अकर्म में भी आपकी आसक्ति नहीं होनी
You
चाहिए.
should not be attached to akarma, that is not working also. Meaning, you should work according to Shastra. Otherwise, there will be Sankara in society. Arjun was also worried earlier about Sankara. Arjun had said that if we engage in the war, then our dynasties will be destroyed, our Kula Dharma will be destroyed. If Dharma is destroyed, then there will be Adharma. Dharma and Adharma are not like something alokik. It simply means that if we are not doing our duty, then we will do other things which are not our duty. So then what will happen? There will be pollution in the society. And then it will give rise to Varna Sankara. Sankara, Arjuna had told about Sankara as Narak, means suffering. Because if we act improperly, then it will give wrong result. Because every action brings result. If we are not doing karma, then we are doing vikarma. And if we are doing vikarma, then it will lead to suffering. So dharma is that which holds.
तो धर्म जो है वो धारण करता है, यानी कि
So the dharma is that which holds.
और अगर धर्म नष्ट हो जाएगा तो अव्यवस्था,
it maintains the order in society.
तो उसी से फिर
If dharma is destroyed, then society will be destroyed in the sense that everybody will have to suffer. That's why Bhagavan is telling, I am always engaged in action. So whether you are a sannyasi, grihastha, vanaprastha, whatever, everyone should perform karma. Bhagavan has never instructed anybody to give up performing action. Generally, people think that sannyasi gives up performing action, gives up karma. No. What happens is that sannyasi works, but he works for society, not for getting any result for himself. In Gita, Bhagavan has said that one who gives up attachment, works without attachment, that is a real sannyasi, real yogi. Yogi means one who is doing karma. Here, yoga word is used for karma. So Bhagavan says that in there is no difference between karma yoga and sannyas. He said that Sankhya Yoga, Karma, Sannyas, these all are same only. One who considers them to be different, he is in an ignorant person. Their methods may be different, but their goal is same only. And the internal bhava is also same only. Means to work without attachment. In 18th chapter also Bhagavan says,
पावनानि मनीषिणाम, कि यज्ञ दान तप ये कर्म करना चाहिए सन्यासी को.
There he says that even a sannyasi should do yajna, dana and tapa. It purifies the human society. And Bhagavan himself is the ideal example for what he is speaking. After this, in the next verse, he says,
कहते हैं कि सक्तः कर्मणि विद्वांसो यथा कुर्वन्ति भारत कुर्याद विद्वांस तथा शक्तः चिकीर्षुर लोक संग्रहम। हे भारत, जैसे अज्ञानी
Translation:
मनुष्य
As the unaware engage in action with attachment, O Bharata, so should the wise perform action without attachment, intending the welfare of the world.
तो ये बड़ी मजेदार बात है।
So this is very
यहाँ तो
interesting.
भगवान ने कहा
Earlier he said that
कि जो भी श्रेष्ठ पुरुष कार्य करता है
whatever the Shrestha people do, other people follow that.
और यहाँ क्या कहते हैं कि
But here he is saying that Shrestha people should work in a way that the ignorant people are working. Earlier he told that Shrestha people are the ideals for others. And here he is making the Ajnani, the ignorant people, as the ideal for the Shrestha people. So he is saying here, as the unaware engage in action, so the wise should perform action. Just that the wise person should work without attachment. So for the Jnani, for the wise person, who is the ideal example? The unaware person. Like Prahlad Maharaj says, he says, just like the aviveki person, how he is immersed in sense enjoyment. Similarly, my mind should be immersed in you. So the ignorant person is becoming the example for the Shrestha person. For the Shrestha person, the ideal is the person who is Vishayi. The point is that just like the ignorant person, how he is so much attached to earning wealth, to sense enjoyment, and he works day and night. Nowadays, people perform two jobs. They work in the weekends also for earning extra money. Similarly, the wise person should work. But the problem is, the ignorant person is working to get some result. But then why should the wise person act? So here he is telling the wise person, he should act for the welfare of the world. Because he has already attained something, so he should continue working. So the question that was raised, that why should somebody work without attachment? Long time back, a sadhu was speaking to me. He was telling, why do you work so hard? He asked me, why do you work so hard? If you want to work so hard, why did you become a sadhu? People outside work so hard, then sadhu should relax. Many people think that sadhu need not work hard. So there are many tamasic people who become sadhus and they remain lazy. But Bhagavan is speaking the opposite. He is telling
वो तो ज्ञान से पराभूत होकर कार्य करता है, उसको पता नहीं है कि इसका अंतिम फल जो है केवल दुखी होगा.
The ignorant person, he is working with ignorance, and the wise person, he should work hard with understanding that if I work like this, it will lead to my welfare as well as the society's welfare. So Bhagavan himself works.
और उनको कुछ प्राप्त नहीं करना है.
He is supremely knowledgeable. He knows everything. So if the wise person gets doubt that why should I work, so Bhagavan is giving the answer that you work for the welfare of the world. Meaning there is a great responsibility on the wise person for the upliftment of the society. Like Shastra says about 5 debts to the rishis, the forefathers. Here Bhagavan is telling that the wise person is also living in the society, on the society, so he should also work for the upliftment of the society. So the point is that what will inspire him to work, because he doesn't have attachment. So his inspiration should be his love for Bhagavan, his preeti for Bhagavan. So why should we always work? Because our Bhagwan is always working, and there is no bigger inspiration than prema. It has the inspiration of prema is far greater than the inspiration of wealth. But still, what is the process of working without attachment? This is what we have to understand. So you can take the example of a drama or a movie. The person who is acting in the movie, so the actor is acting without attachment. He's just playing a role there. So by acting, if he thinks this is the result I will get, so he just have to perform the acting. His attachment is not in the result of that particular role that he is playing, but still he does his job. So he doesn't get bound in that particular role, and then only we call him a good actor. If he starts acting with attachment, then there will be problem. Once this Ram-Līlā was going on in India, the Ram-Līlā is a very old tradition in Indian society. When there were no movies, etc., still there used to be Ram-Līlas, plays on the life of Lord Ram. So once it happened, the so Sita and Ravan, the people who were doing the roles of Sita and Ravan, so the person who was playing the role of Ravan had actually had love for the lady who was performing the role of Sita outside the stage also. So when the Sita Swayamvar scene was going on, so there was a condition in that there was a bow of Lord Shiva, and that bow was brought, and the condition was that whichever king can uplift this bow and break it, he will be married to Sita. So many kings came there. So it's said in Ramayana that so many kings came there, but nobody could lift. So, and Bhagwan Ram came there. He was brought by Vishwamitra. So Bhagwan Ram broke the bow. But in this stage, sorry, in the Sita Swayamvar, Ravan had also come. So in the stage, the person who was playing the role of Ravan, he was just supposed to act that he could not lift the bow. That bow on the stage was not actually the bow of Lord Shiva. So they just show like that. So on the stage, when the person playing the role of Ravan, when it was his turn to lift the bow, he forgot that I am just supposed to act. He wanted to marry this girl playing the role of Sita. So this person playing role of Ravan, he actually lifted the bow. And when he lifted the bow, then people got confused. What is going on? Why is Ravan lifted the bow? So people started saying that Ravan, there is fire in Lanka, you go there, leave this. So this person said, let there be fire in Lanka. Now is the time for me to get married to Sita. So now this is a big problem in the role play that Ravan has lifted the bow. So now people are confused. What should we do? Because King Janak is also sitting. So Janak thought that this is a big problem. What should I do? So he tried to manage the situation. So he had an assistant. He told the assistants that what have you done? You brought the wrong bow here. I told you to bring the bow of Lord Shiva. This bow has been broken by Ravan also. Throw off this bow. Bring the actual bow of Lord Shiva. So this way he managed the situation on the stage, and the curtains were closed, and the person playing the role of Ravan was beaten by others. That who told you to act like this? Who told you to lift the bow? So the point is that acting without attachment, working without attachment is like a role play. So in a role play also, if you start acting with attachment, there will be trouble.
तो हमको देखना चाहिए कि जो
So we
आसक्त
should
व्यक्ति है
think carefully.
आसक्त होता है वो उतना ही
The person,
जोर से करता है किसी
the
अगर
more a person has attachment,
किसी लड़की में
if a boy is attached to a girl,
तो कितनी
but the family members do not want him to get married to that girl, then how much that boy analyzes, he starts planning. So we have to work like this, but without attachment.
विद्वान जो है जो अज्ञानी व्यक्ति है जो
So the
नहीं है वो जिस प्रकार से काम करता है
ignorant person,
उस
the way he works,
लेकिन उसकी जो आसक्ति
similarly the wise person has to work, just that do not take the attachment as the ideal.
तो इस प्रकार से
The ideal part is just his enthusiasm in working.
समाज का भी कल्याण होगा
If you work like this, then it will lead to your welfare as well as the society's welfare,
अच्छा असर पड़ेगा
and it will bring favorable
आदर्श स्थापित हो जाएगा
result, favorable impact on the society.
ना भी
It will set an ideal example. And even if the people in society do not see your example, let's say there is a sadhu and he is a very ideal sadhu. So the point is, should he show his ideal behavior to others so that people get influenced? Well, this also happens.
कोई आवश्यकता नहीं
There is, so the answer is no, there is no need to show the ideal behavior. If your behavior is ideal, even if people are not seeing you, still that will have an influence on the society. Because whatever we do in this world,
प्रभाव पड़ता ही है
it always has an influence.
तो अगर हम दुराचार करते हैं और हम
If we act improperly, if we act improperly hiding,
शिष्टाचार
then also it has influence in this world. And if we act properly,
नहीं करना है कि दूसरे देखें
whether others see us or do not see us,
लोक संग्रम से ये भी हो सकता है ना कि हम अच्छा कार्य करें और दूसरों को दिखाएं फिर
because this is also what happens, that we act, people think that we let us act properly and also show to others that we are ideals. Because nowadays is the world of social media, anything anybody does, people show it off in social media. See, we are doing this, we are doing that. So there is no need for that.
लोक संग्रम
Because somebody may say that people are that Bhagavan is telling here Loka Sangra. So does Loka Sangra mean that you show off your ideal behavior to this world? No. Bhagavan is, what Bhagavan means is that do not act improperly because that influences others, and act improperly because that also influences others. But if you are acting properly, there is no need to show it off to public, because that will lead to pride in you,
दैवी संपत्ति और आसुरी संपत्ति
and that is also wrong.
तो सबसे पहले
Because when Bhagavan speaks of Devi and Asuri Sampatti, in Asuri Sampatti, the first thing
सूची में है
he says is Dambha.
दंभ का मतलब होता है दिखाना
Dambha means show off.
तो वास्तव में दंभ का मतलब तो ये है कि वो दिखाना जो आप नहीं है लेकिन जो आप
Actually, Dambha means to show off that which you do not have. But even if you have something, why do you have to show off that part also?
मान मिले
Because even if you are showing off the right thing, there also you have some desire for name and fame, support from society, to get something material. So this bhava is
से फिर अधर्म
will be there. So from there only then adharma begins.
के लिए आपको वही करते रहना पड़ेगा
Then in order to maintain, in order to manage that, you have to continue what you showed earlier. It's not that people just come once. Then what happens? Your whole life becomes engaged in serving the public only. So we should not derive this meaning from Loka Sangraha.
और आपके आदर्श
It simply means that we should act properly,
पर प्रभाव पड़ेगा
and that will influence others. And if you are a sadhu, then sadhu samaj does not mean that you become a sadhu and live like a lazy fellow. Because in, in sadhu samaj there is a very popular saying,
चाकरी पंछी करे न काम दास मलुका कह गए सबके दाता राम तो मलुक दास एक बड़े भक्त हुए थे तो
so Maluk Das ji was a great devotee. So he said that, see, the python has such a big body, but the python doesn't do anything.
इसको भोजन
He just lies down,
और ये जो पक्षी हैं उड़ रहे हैं आकाश
See the birds flying in the sky, they do not work, they do not perform any job, they still get food. Then the question is, why is human being working? So he says Bhagwan Ram will give everything. So the general opinion is that one who has given you birth, he will feed you also. So you do not need to work. So many sadhus they speak like this, but Bhagavan does not support this notion. Now Maluk Das ji must have spoken this from a deep vision, some deeper angle. People do not understand that, but they derive wrong meaning from what he said, and they bring the meaning that you do not have to work only. So Bhagavan is not supporting that. He says that you should always be engaged in action. You should never be lazy, always remain enthusiastic, but work without attachment to the result. So we will stop here. If you have any question, you can ask.
आपने बताया कि द्वेष भाव इस जगत में मूल स्थायी भाव
Question,
है.
you said that Dvesha is the primary sthayi bhav in this world, not Preeti.
का मतलब लौकिक प्रीति.
So which Preeti do you mean? The worldly Preeti? So answer, there is nothing called Lokik Preeti. That is why there is envy. That's why father and son, they also fight. Brothers also fight. Isn't it? Husband, wife, they fight. If there would have been Preeti in this world, then why would they fight? What is your experience? What is your personal experience?
I don't know.
आपका अपने माँ बाप के साथ बहुत प्रेम है?
Do you have a lot of love for your parents? Do you think they have a lot of love for you?
तो फिर क्या कहती हो मालूम नहीं?
Then why do you say you don't know whether there is love in this world or no? There is envy only.
प्रश्न है, कृपया ईर्ष्या, द्वेष तथा असूया
Question,
के मध्य
please explain the subtle difference between Irsha, Dvesh and Asuya.
असूया होता है
Answer, Asuya means to see fault, to impose faults, even if there is no fault in the other person. Irsha means you see others' progress and you start burning internally. These are all part of Dvesh only. Dvesh is one general word. Dvesha means to desire harm to somebody else.
दूसरे का अनिष्ट करोगे उससे आपको बड़ा सुख मिलता है, वही द्वेष है.
If something wrong happens to somebody else, then you feel happy. That is Dvesha.
हमारे संस्कार जो
Next
हमारे
question.
आचरण के मूल कारण है तथा हमें
Our samskaras are the main cause of our behavior and they determine what actions we do.
हाँ तो
Will they change if we act with awareness? Answer, yes. So samskaras are created by performing karma only. Samskaras have not dropped in you from somewhere else. Whatever you have done earlier, whatever you have experienced, that has created samskara. So if you want to create new samskaras, then you have to perform new karmas. If you want to get good samskaras, you have to perform good actions. If you want to have bad samskaras, then you perform bad actions.
कृपया अपना प्रश्न पूछें.
दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी. प्रश्न है कि
Question,
अगर कोई
if
छिपे हुए अपना कर्म कर रहा है,
somebody is doing his karma hiding and somebody is doing bhajan hiding,
एज इन कर्म योग कर रहा है और छिपे हुए कोई भजन कर रहा है,
one is doing
सही
karma yoga
उद्देश्य के
in
साथ,
hiding and somebody is doing bhajan hidden from others with the right objective
सेम है.
without any mithyachar, will they have same result? Answer, no, the result will not be same because
उसका असर, उसका प्रभाव
the result
वो केवल कर्म कर रहा है ये तो एक बात है, लेकिन कर्म करने के पीछे जो भाव होता है ना, जो आपने कहा,
The point is that, as you said, that he is not doing mithyachar, he is doing karma. What is the depth of that bhav?
उसमें घनता है, इंटेंसिटी
What is the intensity in his bhava who is doing that? That is what will create impact. And if different people have different levels of intensity in their bhav,
असर जो है
so result will be there,
उसको कहते
but that will depend on the intensity
क्या
of the
पवित्रता,
bhav, on the level of purity.
कितनी है।
What is the level of purity of the heart?
और दूसरा दुराचार कर रहा है तो उसकी अपवित्रता कितनी है,
And if somebody is doing
उसके अनुसार
durachar,
उसका
then what is the level of impurity? So these things, they determine the level of the
बराबर
impact.
पढ़ने से कहने का मतलब ये भी है कि बराबर इसलिए नहीं कि दोनों का अलग अलग पड़ेगा,
And also,
जो गलत कर रहा है उसका गलत प्रभाव, जो अच्छा कर रहा है उसका अच्छा
one who is
प्रभाव
doing
पड़ेगा।
something wrong, he will have a bad impact. One who is doing something good will have a good impact. So results are different.
हमें कहा जाता है
Next
कि
question.
भगवान पर पूरा विश्वास रखें और यह माने
It is taught
कि
that we
वे
should have full
हमारे
faith
पूरे
in
धर्म की रक्षा
Bhagavan
करेंगे,
and
लेकिन दूसरी
to
तरफ
accept
यह
that
कहा जाता
he
है
is the
कि भगवान
protector of
उनकी भी मदद
dharma.
करते हैं
But then it
जो
is
अपना
also said
विश्वास करते हैं।
Bhagavan helps those who help
हमें
themselves,
अपनी रक्षा स्वयं
meaning
करनी चाहिए
that
और अपने धर्म
it
की
is
रक्षा
it
भी
our
करनी चाहिए।
responsibility to protect
मेरा सवाल ये
ourselves
है
and
कि
our
क्या भगवान
dharma.
पर विश्वास करना काफी है या फिर
My
हमें
question
अपने
is it
धर्म पर भी
sufficient to
विश्वास
have faith
रखना
in
चाहिए?
Bhagavan, or we should
कार्यात्मक
also
होना भी जरूरी है,
be
इस विषय
active
को हम कैसे
in
समझें और
protecting
इस कॉन्सेप्ट को
ourselves
हम
and
कैसे
our
समझें?
dharma?
तो इसका मार्गदर्शन तो भगवान गीता में कर ही रहे हैं, यहाँ पर
So
सीधा
answer, Bhagavan is
गीता ही
explaining already in Gita.
स्वयं इसका एक उदाहरण है।
Gita is the example, the ideal example that
कर्म नहीं करना चाहता है,
Arjun was
उनसे
not
पूछा गया
interested in performing karma,
लेकिन
and he
भगवान
was
ने उसको
thinking
बार
what
बार बता
Bhagavan,
दिया ना
whatever Bhagavan will do is fine.
कि आप
So that's why Bhagavan is
कर्म कारय
teaching
कर्म समाचर, कर्म कीजिए,
that
मैंने
you
पहले
continue to
बताया था
perform
कर्म
karma.
जो है,
So I had told
शास्त्र
earlier
शास्त्र
also,
रीति से कर्म किया
karma
जाए वो
and
धर्म है, उसमें
dharma, whatever is done according to
नहीं
Shastra,
है ना।
that is karma. Dharma
शास्त्र
is also a karma
शास्त्र
only.
की विधान के अनुसार जो आप
Working according
कर्म
to the
करते हैं,
injunction of Shastra, that is dharma,
कर्म
karma.
समाचर, वो कर्म का मतलब धर्म ही है, जो कहते
So
हैं
what
वेद
is
के
told here
अनुसार
is
आपको
dharma
करना है,
only.
धर्म ही है वो,
What is told about dharma, that is
उसको ही
karma.
करना चाहिए।
Establishing dharma means to
तो
teach what
ऐसा
is
कहीं नहीं
the
कहा गया
karma
कि
for
आप
different people.
भगवान के भरोसे
So
बैठ
it is
जाइए
not told
और सब
anywhere
कुछ
that
करिए,
you just sit
कम
relaxed
से कम
depending on Bhagavan.
भगवान से
At
जुड़े,
least
तो ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं कहते।
Bhagavan, who is teaching Gita, he has never
क्या यहाँ तक कहते हैं कि
nowhere
सब कुछ
spoken like
कर दिया
this.
तुम,
He
मुझे भरोसे
says
बनो,
that I have done everything,
तो
you just become
कर्म करना है लेकिन
nimitta.
उसका हमें अभिमान नहीं होना चाहिए।
So we should do
अभिमान
karma,
नहीं
but
है
we
इसमें,
should not have
उसमें
abhiman
केवल
for that.
अपनी मेहनत
We
की
should
जरूरत है।
understand that everything is happening by
दूसरा है कि
mercy of Bhagavan, but we should
वहां से ये
work
नहीं
with
आए
our
कि
fullest
ये
full
सब कुछ
energy.
मेरे कारण हुआ,
That's what he is showing here, that Arjun is doing everything,
हम
but
स्वयं
then he thinks that everything is happening by
अपने हाथ में
Bhagavan's
काम
mercy.
दिया है उसके अनुसार कर्म
So
करो।
Bhagavan wants that we
भगवान
should
के
work
हाथ में
according
सब
to our
दिया है, तो
qualification.
करेंगे क्या?
But if we do not work according to our qualification, what shall we do? Because we will engage our energy in doing something.
कुछ तो
Why
करेंगे,
Bhagavan said that nobody can live
भगवान
without
बिना
doing
किए कोई
anything.
कार्य
So
नहीं
you
कर
will
सकते।
always do something. So if you
उसको
are not working for dharma, then you will work for adharma,
प्रकट होकर अजगर की
because you
भांति
have
काम
only
नहीं
two
करेगा।
options. You just cannot sit
दो
relaxed
दृष्टि हो सकती है,
like some python.
जो जड़
There may
भरत
be some very, very rare people
दत्तात्रेय
like
ऋषि के
Jad Bharat or
स्थान पर
Dattatreya Rishi
ऋषभ
in
देव,
the 11th canto, or
तो वो
Bhagwan Rishabh
अलग
Dev.
स्थिति है
Those
उसकी,
are extremely rare
कोई व्यक्ति
and
अलग है।
advanced examples. So
तो
you
तात्पर्य
cannot
इसका
take them as
यही
example.
मैंने कहा अभी
Point is that
स्पष्ट,
everybody has to work.
गीता में भगवान
That's
कहते
why
हैं कर्म
Bhagavan is
करो,
telling everyone has to work.
वो स्वयं कहते हैं
Bhagavan, it is
प्रयासम
not
कर्तुम
something new he is
निरतम
telling.
करोति है, सन्यासी च, वही सन्यासी है। सन्यासी का मतलब ये
So he says
सोचता
that
है कि
sannyasi is one who is
तो उसको कहते हैं
always
कर्म करना कर्म
engaged
करना, लेकिन कर्म
in
फल छोड़
action.
दिया।
So he's telling what sannyasi
यहाँ पर
has given up
सन्यासी
is not the work, he has given up the
ये
result.
कहते हैं कि दो मत बताते हैं कि कर्म करो ही मत, और दूसरा ये है कि कर्म फल छोड़ के कर्म करो।
So one is that you do not work, and another is you work without
तो ये
attachment. So
बात का क्या
Bhagavan
मतलब है
prefers
कि
the
जब हम
second
कर्म
option,
करते हैं भगवान के
work
लिए,
without attachment. So why our Hindu
तो
dharma got destroyed?
कोई भी
Because
चीज
of this type of thinking that Bhagavan will do everything.
चाहे भगवान राम है, चाहे
If you see any avatar, deity of any avatar of Bhagavan, then he is always having some weapon in his hand.
हथियार लेके हमारे आदर्श खड़े हैं तो हमको भी तो रक्षा करनी है ना अपने
So
धर्म की।
what he is teaching is not that he is holding the weapon and he will do everything for you. What he is teaching is how he is holding a weapon, you also hold the weapon for your own protection. And if you do not do that, Bhagavan is thinking, what is the use of helping a lazy person?
तो फिर वो सहायता
If you yourself stand, uh,
और आप
if you
सहायता करना
arise
चाहते
for
हैं तो
protecting your dharma, then Bhagavan will also come to help you.
आलसी व्यक्ति मेरे को नहीं चाहिए।
And if you are lazy, then Bhagavan will think, why I do not need such important people.
प्रश्न है, क्या
Better let them die.
संसार के लिए बहुत अधिक कर्म करने से हमारा मन आध्यात्मिक विषयों को समझने में सुस्त हो जाता है?
Question: if we are doing lot of karma, do we become lazy in understanding spirituality?
आप समझा रहे थे कि जिस प्रकार आसक्त व्यक्ति बहुत अधिक कर्म करता है,
अधिक का मतलब क्या होता है? अधिक का मतलब कि वो अपना समय व्यर्थ नहीं करता है।
What do you mean by doing lot of karma? Point is that it do not waste time.
का जो समय है उसको आप व्यर्थ की चीजों में मत लगाए। जैसे
You should not use the time in useless activities.
हो गया, अब हमारा वीकेंड आ गया,
Like, people say that this is summer vacation, now it is weekend.
प्रक्रिया है,
But we do the same thing daily, our daily morning sadhana. Not that today is Sunday, so today I will not do my daily sadhana. This is New Year day, I will not do my daily sadhana. So we do our daily sadhana.
प्रश्न है,
Like
क्या
that you have to
द्वेष
work.
होकर न्यूट्रल
Next
स्टेट हो
question.
सकती है इस जगत में?
In this world, is it possible to have a neutral state devoid of dvesha? Answer is yes. But it is not easy to achieve that state.
हो गया। चलो
We'll recite the prayer verses.
सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपाल नंदनः पार्थो वत्स सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्र गीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मंत्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेताः यच्छ्रेयः स्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम् यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिर् ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांघ्रये भवे भवे यथा भक्ति पादयोस्तव जायते तथा कुरुष्व देवेश नाथस्त्वं नो यतः प्रभो नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपाप प्रणाशनम् प्रणामो दुःखशमनस्तं नमामि हरिं परम् हरि ओम तत्सत्।